So the next was the simulation. And so this one was the 3 areas where you could find the product to be improved and then to narrow it down to 1. So I focused on SquigglePark since I was interested in them since they had that internship availability last semester, I believe, or this semester. And I also found out that they have Dreamscape, which is basically the separation was the SquigglePark is for early childhood literacy or just reading and alphabets and vowels and things. And then Dreamscape was a Clash of Clans clone, but instead of time, it does like, oh, read a passage and do reading comprehension questions. And then that's your passage of time instead of with the Clash of Clans. So with these, I kind of wanted to focus on with SquigglePark, which is a little bit more developed, is expanding their onboarding and teacher success. And for Dreamscape is looking at the UX UI designs and reiterate that since it's only about a year old, as well as unifying the idea of the game itself and the learning design and combining it into one positive experience. So with the onboarding and teacher success, teachers really don't have much time to like experiment or play or fiddle. And that's why like first impressions are really important, and also just the shortest amount of time to find the value in the product is really important in the user journey of that. So it's also to avoid future problems and frustrations. So that helps with these on the CX perspective. So when you first sign up for SquigglePark, you see this welcome SquigglePark. It tells you to add a class. So you add your class, and then you also add your students. And then once you've finished adding your students, it says you're all set. Give it to basically download the codes, give them to your students, and then once they start playing, you can look at the dashboard. As a teacher, I would imagine wanting to know more information about how to successfully implement this in the classroom and not just have a dashboard ready and just see what happens. So looking at what the experience is now in the journey, that is, you get to the class page immediately, and there's not really anywhere to go necessarily. It's too much going on, not really know exactly where except for the upgrade button, but I don't really want to upgrade because I don't know if this has any value at this moment. But there is this view tutorials button there. However, it's just kind of hidden with all the other buttons. If you fiddle around some more, then you do at the home page, you do find that there's a getting started page. And I think this getting started section should definitely be highlighted on this. So my idea to reiterate this would to be on the class page. Once you get that all set prompt, another pop-up happens where you get the getting started, where it has all those resources that you have, as well as within the quick start guide, there was this how to start playing and how to implement it into your classroom video. This one's 20 minutes. I would recommend, probably based on my own experiences, that 5 minutes at the most is usually beneficial instead of the 20-minute where they'll lose interest on that. The other thing is kind of making UX UI iterations for the Dreamscape product. And with this one, focusing on the heads-up display, as well as a more user-friendly approach to the reading passages and questions. So first impressions with the heads-up display. The objectives, which there's a lot going on in this, but the objectives aren't really very clear of like where the student should be going necessarily. It's also overlapping the battle log button, which unless you haven't have started battling, it's not really necessary. So I would suggest moving the battle log button either to smaller or lower, and also then highlighting the objectives so to make sure that the students are actually engaged in the app and keep going on what they're supposed to be doing with the app itself. The other thing with the reading passages and questions, it uses scrolling to get through the to the passage, which can be kind of confusing, and sometimes you can not see that there's remaining things, as well as the multiple choice. So you might just know that there's only A, B in this one when there's actually C and D. So my proposal would be is to kind of make it a clear, either chunking the reading passage bit by bit so you have one single page and then you continue along the way, as well as the multiple choice, have it in one clear point, so you can make sure that they can see all the options available to them instead of trying to guess whether or not they would scroll. The other thing is combining the themes of gaming and learning design. So right now there's kind of just a mobile strategy game, and then there's a reading assessment task as well, and they kind of are separated. So they kind of use the reading assessment as a chore, where I'd be curious about kind of making it a delightful experience where you can see on the left, it's kind of a game, it's really engaging, things are going on, and then you just get a very stagnant reading assessment. Um, so, so iterations on that I'd be curious about would be just creating a more positive experience, and where if you see in this one, there's not really any audio cues. There's just a simple hourglass that tips, and that's a correct answer. So it should be kind of surprise and delight, and really confetti or something with the characters being really happy that they can now build upon this, and kind of combining the two, so it's like one single theme throughout that and not just two separate ideas. So with this, to answer these questions is for the onboarding is how many teachers stop using the dashboard after one-time use, or how long do first-time users interact on the website? How confident are teachers implementing? Yes, you can read this. I'll continue on for that. But anyway, I think the most valuable one would be onboarding, just from a business perspective and really keeping retention on that. So the two things to really look at is a decrease in churn rate, as well as the increase in trial to paid conversion rate, and making sure that people are delighted by the experience and wanting to and find the value to that to continue on.